The first message arrived at 9:14 p.m. on a Wednesday. My husband, Andre, was lying on the couch with his feet on my lap. Our default position for Wednesday evenings, which were reserved for bad reality television, and the mutual agreement that neither of us had to be interesting after 8 p.m. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, made a face I'd classify as confused amusement, and tilted the screen toward me. Look at this. The Instagram message was from an account called @JessicaCamfit_. Profile photo. A woman in gym clothes, professionally lit, the kind of photo that comes from a photographer, not a phone. The message said, "Hey, I saw your profile through a friend's page. You seem really cool. Hope it's not weird that I'm messaging you LOL. You seem really cool," I repeated. That's the opening line? That's what we're working with. Apparently. She could at least have commented on a specific photo. This is low-effort catfishing. You're critiquing the catfishing technique. I'm a librarian, Andre. I critique everything. My name is Priya Okafor. I'm 33 years old. I'm the head of digital services at the Fairfax County Public Library in Virginia. My job involves managing online databases, digital literacy programs, and the occasional intervention when a patron tries to print 200 pages of conspiracy theories on the public printer. I have a master's degree in information science, a husband who shows me his DMs without being asked, and a sister-in-law who was about to discover that catfishing a man who married a librarian is like trying to forge a painting in front of an art historian. Andre didn't block Jessica. Not because he was interested, because Andre had been raised by a Nigerian mother who taught him that secrets in a marriage are termites, and the moment you start hiding things, the structure starts collapsing. He showed me every message he received the same way he showed me every bank statement, every work email he thought was funny, and every meme his cousin group chat produced at industrial volume. We discussed blocking. We discussed ignoring. Then Andre said something that changed the trajectory of the entire situation. The way she types. The LOL at the end of every sentence. The double spaces after periods. Babe, I think this is Vanessa. Vanessa. Andre's older sister. My sister-in-law for 5 years. A 38-year-old pharmaceutical sales representative who had been opposed to our marriage since approximately the third date when she told Andre, in front of me at a family dinner, that she seems nice, but is she really what you're looking for long-term? She was me, standing 3 feet away, holding a plate of jollof rice that Andre's mother had insisted I try. I'd been she ever since. Vanessa's objection to me was never articulated as a coherent argument. It shifted shapes depending on the context. When Andre proposed, Vanessa said I was moving too fast. When we bought a house, Vanessa said the neighborhood was not right for the family. When I got promoted to department head, Vanessa said it was a lot of hours away from home. The criticism was a chameleon. It changed color to match the situation, but underneath, the creature was always the same. Vanessa didn't want Andre's attention directed at anyone who wasn't blood. How can you tell it's her? I asked, looking at the Instagram profile. The photos were clearly stolen. Reverse image search confirmed they belonged to a fitness influencer in Miami named Alejandra, who had 340,000 followers and definitely was not messaging random men in Northern Virginia. The double space after periods. She does that in every text. And LOL at the end of sentences that aren't funny. That's her thing. She writes, I went to the store today, LOL. Like going to the store is hilarious. I looked at the message again. You seem really cool. Hope it's not weird that I'm messaging you LOL. Double space after the period. LOL deployed on a sentence with zero comedic content. Andre was right. This was Vanessa. We could block her, I said. Or we could find out what she's trying to do. You want to play along? I want to give her enough rope. Because if she's doing this, she has a goal. And I want to know what the goal is before I confront her. This is why I married Andre. Not because he's handsome, though he is, in the specific way that Nigerian men are handsome when they've been raised by women who believe that a well-dressed man is a form of community pride. I married him because he thinks strategically when he's angry, which is a trait I've never seen in another human being. Most people get angry and react. Andre gets angry and plans. We played along for 2 weeks. Andre responded to Jessica with the carefully calibrated engagement of a man who is pretending to be interested without crossing any line that would give the catfisher ammunition. Day 1. Hey, thanks for reaching out. How'd you find my page? Jessica's response. Through a friend of a friend. You have really good taste in music, LOL. Day 3. Andre was certain. It's her. She referenced a song I only ever play in the car with family. Nobody else would know I listened to Burna Boy on repeat. Day 5. Jessica escalated. Do you ever feel like your wife doesn't appreciate you? I read somewhere that men in their 30s feel most undervalued at home, lol. I read that message sitting next to Andre on the couch, my feet now on his lap because we'd rotated positions, and I felt a specific chill that had nothing to do with the temperature. This wasn't random flirtation. This was targeted. Vanessa was trying to create a wedge, to plant the idea that I didn't appreciate Andre, that our marriage was lacking something, that Jessica could see what I couldn't. Day 7. Jessica sent a photo. Not a stolen one. A selfie that showed a woman's hand holding a coffee cup with a blurred face in the background. The hand was wearing a ring. A very specific ring. A silver band with a small emerald, which I recognized because I'd been at the anniversary dinner where Vanessa's husband Bennett had given it to her. She sent a photo of her own hand, Andre said. She's not even using someone else's photos for the details. She just stole the face. Day 9. Jessica tried to arrange a meeting. I know this is forward, but I'll be in your area next week. Want to grab coffee? No pressure, lol. Andre, love to. Where were you thinking? Jessica. There's this cute cafe on King Street in Old Town. Do you know it? King Street in Old Town, Alexandria. Vanessa's favorite brunch spot. She'd taken us there 3 times. Day 11. Jessica delivered the payload. The message that revealed the entire purpose of the 2-week operation. Can I be honest with you? I looked at your wife's Instagram. She seems really focused on her career. Like really focused. Some men don't mind that, but in my experience, guys like you need someone who makes them the priority. Not someone who comes home late and talks about library databases, lol. Library databases. Vanessa had just referenced my specific job in a message from a fake account that was supposedly a stranger. A fitness influencer from Miami would not know that I manage library databases. A sister-in-law who had listened to me describe my job at family dinners would. Andre screenshot everything. Every message. Every timestamp. Every double-spaced period and misplaced lol. He organized them chronologically in a folder on his phone labeled evidence, because Andre was the son of a woman who kept receipts, literal and metaphorical, and the habit was genetic. Day 14. The final message. The one that didn't just end the catfishing. It ended Vanessa's marriage. Jessica. I know you probably think I'm just some random girl, but I feel a real connection with you. Can I tell you something personal? I've been married too, and my husband doesn't notice me anymore. He works all the time, and when he's home he's on his phone. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother. You seem like the kind of man who actually sees the person in front of him. Your wife is lucky, but I don't think she knows it, lol. My husband doesn't notice me anymore. That wasn't Jessica talking about a fictional marriage. That was Vanessa talking about Bennett. In the process of trying to destroy my marriage, she'd accidentally confessed the misery of her own. Andre called a family meeting. Not the casual kind, the formal kind, the kind that Andre's mother, Chioma, convened when matters of family integrity were at stake. In the Okafor family, a formal meeting meant the living room, the good chairs, and the implicit understanding that whatever was about to be discussed would be resolved before anyone left. Present. Chioma, Andre's mother, 64, retired nurse, the gravitational center of the Okafor family. Andre. Me. Vanessa. Bennett, Vanessa's husband, 40, software engineer, a man who communicated primarily through silence and occasional startled expressions. Andre placed his phone on the coffee table, opened the screenshot folder, and began reading the messages aloud. He read all of them. Every lol. Every double-spaced period. Every escalation from "you seem cool" to "your wife is lucky, but I don't think she knows it." He read them in the voice of a man who had spent 2 weeks watching his sister try to dismantle his marriage and had chosen patience over rage because patience produces evidence and rage produces regret. Vanessa's face during the reading went through what I can only describe as a controlled demolition. Not a sudden collapse, a sequential failure of load-bearing walls, each message removing another support until the structure couldn't hold. When Andre reached the day 14 message, "My husband doesn't notice me anymore," Bennett, who had been sitting in silence, turned to Vanessa. "Is that true?" he asked. Not about the catfishing. About the marriage. About his wife telling a fake version of herself that her husband didn't see her. Vanessa couldn't answer. For the first time in the 5 years I'd known her, Vanessa Okafor Abbott had nothing to say. The woman who always had a comment, always had an opinion, always had a way to redirect attention to her preferred narrative. She sat on her mother's good chair and had nothing. Chioma spoke. When Chioma speaks, physics adjusts. Sound travels differently. Gravity increases. Vanessa, you created a false person to seduce your brother. You used stolen photographs. You attempted to damage his marriage by convincing him that his wife doesn't value him. And in the process, you told a stranger what you couldn't tell your own husband, that you're unhappy. Chioma paused. The pause was more effective than most people's speeches. The catfishing is shameful. We will address it. But the confession, Vanessa, the confession is the part that matters. Because if you are unhappy in your marriage and your response is to attack your brother's marriage rather than repair your own, then you are not protecting this family. You are destroying it, starting with yourself. Bennett stood up. Not dramatically, with the slow, deliberate movement of a man who has just received information that rearranges his understanding of his own life. I'm going home, he said. Vanessa, when you're ready to talk to me, your actual husband, not a fake profile, I'll be there. He left. The door closed quietly. Quiet closings are worse than slams. Slams are anger, which is a form of engagement. Quiet closings are departure, which is the absence of it. Vanessa cried. Not the performative crying I'd seen at family events, the real kind. The kind that happens when every wall you've built comes down simultaneously and you're standing in the rubble wondering how you got here. I don't know why I did it, she said. I saw Andre's life and your life, and it looked so easy. So together. And mine felt like it was falling apart, and I thought if yours was falling apart too, then at least I wouldn't be the only one. So you tried to break my marriage because yours was broken, Andre said. I didn't think of it that way. How did you think of it? I thought if you saw that other women wanted you, you'd realize Priya wasn't enough. And you'd come back to the family. Come back to the family. I never left the family, Vanessa. I married someone. That's not leaving. That's expanding. It felt like leaving. That's your feeling, not my action. And you don't get to blow up my marriage because of your feeling. The aftermath was long and painful in the way that family repairs always are. Not a single dramatic resolution, but a slow, grinding process of accountability, therapy, and the daily decision to keep showing up to conversations that would be easier to avoid. Vanessa and Bennett started couples therapy. The catfishing, ironically, had exposed the actual problem. Not that Vanessa was malicious, but that she was desperately unhappy and had no tools for expressing it except destruction. Her therapist diagnosed what she called displacement aggression, the tendency to attack the nearest target rather than address the actual source of pain. She wasn't trying to steal Andre, the therapist told Chioma during a family session. She was trying to prove that happy marriages don't exist. Because if they don't exist, then hers failing isn't her fault. Vanessa apologized to me in February. Not at a family gathering, alone at a coffee shop, over drinks that neither of us finished. I didn't think of you as a person when I made the profile, she said. I thought of you as a role. The wife. The obstacle. I didn't think about what it would feel like for you to read those messages. It felt like being hunted by someone who was supposed to be family. I know. And I'm sorry. Not sorry, but just sorry. Thank you. Priya, I need to ask you something. Okay. How do you and Andre make it look so easy? I almost laughed. Not at her, at the question. Because it's the question that every person in a struggling relationship asks about every couple that seems functional, and the answer is always the same. It's not easy, Vanessa. It's intentional. We fight about dishes and money, and whose turn it is to take the car for an oil change. He leaves his socks on the bathroom floor. I reorganize his bookshelves without asking. We annoy each other constantly. But we show each other everything. Every message, every worry, every stupid meme. There are no hidden folders. No secret profiles. No locked phones. It's not easy. It's transparent. And transparency is harder than it looks. She nodded slowly. The nod of someone who is hearing something for the first time and recognizing it as the thing they've been missing. Bennett and I don't show each other anything, she said. We live in the same house and we're strangers. Then stop being strangers. Show him the ugly stuff. The scary stuff. The stuff you told a fake Instagram account because you couldn't tell him. What if he leaves? He already left a room because of what you hid. Imagine what he'd stay for if you showed him. Vanessa and Bennett are still married. Still in therapy. Still doing the work, which, in marriage, is a permanent condition, not a temporary project. Bennett told Andre last month that things are different now. Not perfect, but real. Real is underrated. People chase perfect and end up performing. Real is messier, scarier, and the only thing that survives contact with an actual life. Andre deleted the screenshot folder in March. I don't need it anymore, he said. The evidence served its purpose. What purpose? It showed Vanessa who she was being. And it showed me who you are. Who am I? The woman who sat on a couch with her feet on my lap and said, "This is low-effort catfishing," instead of panicking. That's who you are. I maintain that the opening line was terrible. It was. You seem really cool. That's what she went with. If she'd led with a book recommendation, I might have been worried. Nobody catfishes with book recommendations. That's because catfishers don't read. The Jessica account was deleted sometime in January. The fitness influencer in Miami whose photos were stolen is still posting. She has 380,000 followers now. She does not know that her face was used in an elaborate scheme to destroy a marriage in Northern Virginia by a woman who types double spaces after periods and says, LOL, when nothing is funny. Some families break because of lies. Some families break because of truths that arrive too late. And some families survive because a husband looked at a catfish message and said, "Babe, I recognize how she types." That's not romance. That's attention. And attention, the real kind, the kind that notices double spaces and misplaced laughter, and the difference between a stranger's writing and your sister's, is what keeps marriages standing when everything around them is trying to knock them down. Has someone ever tried to sabotage your relationship? How did you find out? Tell me in the comments. And if your partner shows you their DMs without being asked, that's not paranoia. That's trust. Like and subscribe.